Welcome, folks, to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network, also on the American Forces Network, and you can find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. We've taken a little bit of a break the last few days, but we're back. It's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon in Las Vegas, and I got my co-host, Oklahoma Brian, and Florida Rick. Guys, what's happening over there in the middle and east part of the country there?
I can only speak for the middle part of the country, and it's unseasonably warm today. We're in the 60s, so we're enjoying some nice weather. I bet it's warmer where Rick is, though.
Rick, how's it going over there in northern Cuba?
It's perfect weather. We're in the low mid 70s, sunny skies, nice breeze. You couldn't ask for better weather. So it's a little bit ahead of it in South Florida right now. I think just like Vegas.
Beautiful, guys. Well, we got a lot of talk you can bet on today. Rick, we got tons of messages over the weekend and the 2 days we were off, and they all were jonesing for your NBA stuff. For Brian's been pretty good too. I think we did great in the NFL too. So, we're ready to.
NFL was very good. NFL was very good. Unfortunately, we didn't have a show on Friday, so we never had our picks. But it's another very good weekend in the NFL for us. It's a shame we weren't able to give our picks on Friday.
Well, that's the good thing about talk you can bet on, and I live in Vegas, and especially with picks is when it comes to gambling, we know one thing: the Star Spangled Banner plays every day. So we're ready to give out a lot more winners today. Anyways, guys, so let's talk about when we come back from the break. We're going to talk about what happened this weekend. And then, Brian, I think you had a segment you wanted to talk about on, we were just rehearsing it, too.
No, knitting. I have a big knitting deal I want to go over in the second segment. That'll be fun.
So, if you're going to talk about knitting, then I can talk about a big article that I read today that women are very, very upset that they're not getting the recognition in chess that the men are getting. So
I want to hear about that.
It's either knitting or women's chess. We got to take a timeout, guys. We'll be right back. Fifth Street Sports, back in a second.
All right, you're clear.
Are you wasting hundreds of dollars each year on contact lenses? Would you like to be able to see clearly again without reading glasses? Make the smart choice with IQ Laser Vision. Their team has performed over 150,000 LASIK and SMILE procedures, and with 11 locations on the West Coast and special out-of-town packages, there is a solution just right for you. See why they have a 5-star rating on Yelp. Check out IQLaserVision.com. That's IQLaserVision.com.
IQ Laser Vision.
Hey, when do you want to spot that burglar? When he's casing your home or after he's in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while he and his family were home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a thief stealing packages. Both times, Blink video clips were sent to police to help convict the crooks. Blink motion-activated indoor and outdoor cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. And if you're traveling over the holidays, Blink's live feed option lets you monitor your home and check in on pets from anywhere using your Blink smartphone app. No contracts, no subscriptions, totally affordable. And Blink works with Alexa.
Blink camera systems make great holiday gifts, and they're a brilliant way to monitor holiday package deliveries. Save up to a whopping 40% off all outdoor XT and add-on cameras through December 22nd while supplies last. Visit blinkprotect.com/radio. blinkprotect.com/radio. Blink is an Amazon company.
Gold Bond salutes all you fixers out there. Fixers of wobbly chairs, squeaky stairs, and drippy faucets. Folks who can fix just about anything, except dry, cracked hands.
Whoa, that's bad. Man.
Say hello to Gold Bond Cracked Skin Cream. More than a lotion, it precisely fills, soothes, and protects rough, cracked fingers and knuckles. 91% said cracked skin felt smoother in 1 day.
Yep, feeling good.
Gold Bond Cracked Skin Cream. Find it in First Aid at CVS.
Remember in the beginning, when you first started to build a life for you and your family, you never imagined it would come to this. Instead of living your dreams, you're living with debt. In fact, it's smothering you. Now there's a way you can take back control with one simple call. If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you qualify to receive a free, no-obligation consultation on how to get rid of that debt for good. Call the Debt Helpline now. We work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. One simple call is all it takes to get the ball rolling to a debt-free life. Stop living with debt and start living your dreams. Call the Debt Helpline now.
800-957-6063. 800-957.
All right, here we go, guys.
800-957-6063. That's 800-957-6063.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. It's a beautiful day out here in Vegas. And then today, folks, we're going to give Brian a nice little layup. This is his sweet spot. This is the last 2 weeks of the year when this is his wheelhouse. And Rick's, when the NFL comes winding down to the last 2 weeks and you can find some really nice spots on motivated and non-motivated teams. Also, Brian, let's share, because I know this is really means a lot to you too. All the teams that are on the bubble on these win totals.
Yeah, nerve-wracking. I've got a few games a few teams that I need to not win another game this year, and a couple that we need to win. We got lucky. We didn't get lucky, but we got fortunate to get the 6th win of the year for the Browns on Saturday. And that was a big bet for both Rick and myself. So
Nice.
That was good. I also lost my Minnesota Vikings season win total already. I'm kind of bummed about that. But I got a lot of them that are coming down to the end. It should be exciting. One of them is actually Seattle. That's a play that I thought was dead. And I think, it sounds crazy, but I think there is a scenario that Seattle might not win again this year if they lose to the Chiefs this week, and that's obviously a very tough game. Chiefs are fully motivated. Chiefs can win out and secure the number 1 spot in the AFC. If Seattle loses that game, then all of a sudden they get Arizona the next week, but they might be into the playoffs with or without that Arizona game, and then you have fairly old team in Seattle. You wonder if Pete Carroll just decides to rest everyone in week 17, or the thing is they would theoretically have 3 losses going into the playoffs, which isn't really a great move in terms of motivation, but that's one that I'm kind of holding my breath on. You have any that you're kind of teetering on a win or a loss based on the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, but mine's more of a prayer. I have the Giants over 6.5, so I've got to get them to win out. That's good luck with that. But so obviously you had Seattle under 8.5, right?
Under 8, and they're on 8 wins right now.
Oh wow! So you're in a bad spot. The best you can do is push, right?
It's still action, Frank. That's the best I can do is
No, but listen, I got to hand it to you. You were a Cleveland Browns fan since the beginning of the season, and this team is, boy, could you just imagine if they wouldn't have given up one more of those games they haven't, they'd be in the thick of this playoff hunt.
I'll go as far as to say if they had made the coaching change before the year started, and not after 4 or 5 weeks, they'd be looking at the playoffs right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good pick on that. And then you faded the Giants, so but that money's already gone, right?
It's already been spent, Frank. Yep, that money's.
So Rick, how about so who else? So obviously, so Seattle's on the number. Cleveland went over with that win at Denver. Who else is right there on the win or loss over under bubble of the season win totals?
What was the?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, what was the Cowboys season win total?
Gosh, I gotta
I
think.
think the Cowboys season win total was 8.5. I'm pretty sure it was 8.5. So they just need one more win to go over in their last 2 games.
Right.
Which that's
They'll get that.
I think the last game was the Giants. The home against Buccaneers should win that anyway, and then they're at the Giants. So
yeah,
they should definitely get one of those 2 games.
Here's another one that I'm on the brink on. I have Redskins. I think I have over. Was that 7.5
On who?
on the Redskins?
Yes, 7.5 on
Yeah.
the Redskins.
I
So
believe it
there's
was
still
7
some
or
work.
7.5.
Are you
Yeah.
under? Are you under or over on that?
No, I'm over. It's one of the rare overs that I had. I had over on that one, and that's gonna need. It's actually gonna be tough. They've got. Wow. They got at Tennessee, and then Philly. So
Eesh. And then you got
probably a little
Mark
bit of a dog there.
and Mark Sanchez. Thank God he's gone. So at least you got a chance, right?
Yeah, the crazy thing is Josh Johnson. I don't know if you saw this, you guys, this weekend, but Josh Johnson, I don't think I've ever seen this before. He started Sunday, the first start he's made in the NFL in 7 years. I don't think I've ever seen that. An NFL starting quarterback, it was 7 years in between starts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to comprehend. But,
yeah. Now, I was going to run this angle by you today because this morning I got a call from one of our sharp guys, and I wanted to run this angle because he's chirping because I guess he's cashing every ticket. He says what he does on his season win totals in the NFL was he handicapped all the teams that were going to have the sixth strength of schedule, like the Bears, the Browns, all the teams that were playing a very, very easy schedule because of their performance last year, and he bet all of those over. You think there's a good angle to that?
Yeah, I think that the strength of schedule is a great angle for these, and yeah, I generally like to go under on season one totals, but yeah, that's something that everybody should be doing is factoring in the schedule. Schedule's probably half the game in terms of these win totals.
Boy, this guy is chirping. I mean, he says he took the Bears over, took the Bears plus 540 to win their division. Obviously, the Browns over. So this guy is really chirping up a storm. But I'm going to look at that next year. So if that's a factor, if you bet the over in the 6 with the teams that are playing the strength of schedule at 6, wouldn't you? Hey guys, who's back in town? Can you hear that, guys? That's Rockford. Now I know he was in the can and he was getting out Sunday or Monday morning. He was going to call me, but let's see what Rockford's up to now. Gosh, it's good to have him back. There it is, Rockford's picks. Okay, he's got 212, UAB -2, 214, San Diego State -2.5. He's in on Memphis, game 215 -2.5. Game 217, Florida International +6. And for his fifth pick, game 225, Buffalo over 51.5. Boy, Rockford, it's glad to have you back, buddy. I know you got pinched for something and you were getting out of jail. And it's either Sunday or Monday, but I know it's San Diego State +3, corrected. So it's
that's a plus.
I'm interested in knowing what Rockford's was in jail for. Is that something we can find out?
Well, he's going to probably share that with us because, he felt bad that he didn't get in contact with us, but he's back. He said he's going to send a photo of him getting out of the can. I think, what's the email say? There it is. There it is, guys. Rockford getting out of the can on Sunday night. Okay, that's what he looks like right there. Thank you very much.
It's a lot like Leonardo DiCaprio. Wow.
No, that there's a Shawshank Redemption with Tim Robbins, but that's what.
Oh, it's Shawshank? Oh, okay. Yeah. That was all right.
That's what Rockford said he felt like when he got out of the can Sunday night. So anyway, so Rick, what about you on these NFL win totals? You got anything in the hopper or any comments on Rockford's picks?
Yeah, I do have comments on Rockford's picks, and there's one thing a couple of things with Rockford's picks. First of all, there's a couple of games where he took some bad lines that moved against him. But what I will say is that I see what he's doing, and I like it. He seems like he's betting against the MAC teams in bowl games. And I think you can never go wrong betting against MAC teams in bowl games. They have a horrible record against the spread over the last 4 or 5 years in bowls. I think they're against the spread. I want to say something like 11, 29, and 1, maybe the last 4 or 5 years. And it seems like the first couple picks, he's got UAB against Northern Illinois. He's got San Diego State against Ohio. He's got FIU against Toledo. So I see where he's coming from, and I agree with him on those plays for that same reason.
Okay, what about the Buffalo?
Well, the Buffalo total he got a bad line. there was a big move to the under on that game today. I don't know if it bounced back, but I saw this morning it moved from 51.5 down to about 50. What do you know what it is now, Rick?
Yeah, that's 50s currently the line.
Yeah, I would be a little careful with that. The source of that move is really good in bowl games, and I wouldn't want to oppose them. I was going to ask you, Rick, though, about this is your neck of the woods. Is this the first bowl game for FIU in modern history or any history?
Rick, just before you answer that, guys, we got to take a break. We'll be back in 3 minutes. When we come back, Rick's going to answer Brian's question, and we're going to analyze the rest of Rockford's picks. Thanks, folks. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
All right, guys, you're clear.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800.
Levels sound good today, guys.
7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Hi, Rick Tittle here. You may know me as the sports talk host that can talk about all sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, rollerball. But this time I'm here to talk about pain. If you have pain in your knee or your back like I do, then you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. If Medicare is your primary insurance, then you could qualify for a back or knee brace at little or no charge. I have an old injury from my football playing days, and anything that can help take that pain away and make it more manageable, that has my attention. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for back, ankle, knee, or shoulder pain, please call the Health Alert Hotline at 800-428-1570. That's 800-428-1570. Agents are standing by 24/7, so go ahead and call now. 800-428-1570.
Fifth Street Sports, folks. We're back on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network, also on the American Forces Network. You guys from the American Forces Network, we want to thank you. It's, I know it's the Christmas and New Year season, and because of you guys, we're able to enjoy everything we do in this country. Thank you very much. Hey, before we went to a break, Brian, you were asking Rick a question on one of the MAC games. I guess it was from one of Rockford's picks.
Yeah, it just cracked me up to see FIU at a bowl game. I was asking him if that's is that a normal occurrence. I don't remember seeing them in a bowl game recently.
Yeah, well, actually, it's their fourth bowl game they've ever been in. I think they started in Division
Wow.
1A, or what is it called now, FBS, about 2006, 2007. They made their first bowl game in 2010 and won that game against Toledo, who they play again now this year. And they lost a bowl game in 2011, and they actually were in a bowl game last year against Temple, and lost 28-3. So yeah, this is actually their fourth bowl game.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that now. Didn't the quarterback got hurt in their best player with a quarterback? I think got hurt early in the game. I think it was a running quarterback, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right. And then they just had zero offense without him and ended up with a field goal for the whole entire game. So yeah, that's their fourth bowl game, and we'll be rocking the Bahamas on Friday afternoon, which is actually our first weekday afternoon bowl game. Is that game on Friday afternoon at 12:30 or 12 o'clock or Eastern, 12 o'clock Eastern. So it's 9 a.m. for you, Frank. Friday, a little early Christmas present for you. FIU Toledo, and then we got
like, is there anything sacred anymore? Remember, you used to be opening up the presents and everything. Now you're actually shopping for lines on Christmas Day. What's it? I mean, gosh.
No. This is Friday. This is December 21st. I'm saying, it's an early. Or like those weekday afternoon games are so much fun because the rest of the world's working. We're sitting here at home watching bowl games. It's a lot of fun, and we have a doubleheader on Friday too. So it'll be a fun start to the weekend.
I love the plane service of that stadium in the Bahamas. It's like it's got to be the most miserable plane service ever. There's like almost no soil. It's just like coral and like ground up shells and. It's like worse than the playground in a South Florida elementary school. It's really, really bad surface.
Hey guys, so then obviously, before we get off of Rockford's picks, except for the Buffalo over, which is we don't have no real opinion. Does Fifth Street endorse his other four picks? This guy's been in the can. He's been with some really wild people. He might have even met a couple of constituents that we know because he was a minimum security. So
I'm really more interested in the prison than I am about the football. I want to.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he'll share it with us. But he said he gained some knowledge, lost a few pounds, and he's feeling pretty good. But I just want to make sure that his four picks are something we can endorse on Fifth Street.
Like I said, I'm gonna betting against.
Hold off.
I would, when in doubt, bet against the MAC in bowl games. So, early prognosis is we'll endorse them for now. But there's one game tonight, and that's the one game that he does have UAB, which unfortunately did have a line move against him there too. I think he laid 2.5. The line is currently down to 1. So, as of now, he's on the wrong side of the line move, but. He's still fading the MAC teams, and I see where he's going.
Over the weekend, a friend of mine had me listening to two segments with I think it was Alan Boston was on with our buddy Gil Alexander on VSiN, and I listened to the 2 hours of him talking. This was supposedly, I know Brian's got a better history on this guy than I do, but this guy was rambling and talking about he believes that the closing line moves are not as strong as they used to be because of who's moving these lines. So maybe these anti-line moves where you think you got bad closing line value doesn't really matter. Brian, what do you think of that?
I think there's an argument for that in college basketball or some sports where if you're the originator, you don't want to necessarily have your sides blow up, lose your outs because the game's moved against you. I'm not saying I believe this argument, but the argument goes something like this. If you're an originator who's relying on lots and lots of little accounts to get down on games, it's in your interest to maybe throw a little money under the screen along the way, if you can, to push games the other way or to at least hold the lines up so they're not moving in the direction that you're betting. It's a little bit on the conspiracy side of things. I actually heard the first hour of the Alan Boston interview. He's an interesting guy. I'll say that. I'm always skeptical though when a guy comes on and the first thing he tells you is how smart he is. That's usually reminds me of another person that's in the news a lot. I think a good rule to go by is usually the really smart guys don't announce to you that they're so smart. But yeah, I heard that. The best part of the interview was there was a part where he said that the authorities came into his house and arrested him. He got off of the charges, but he was never able to figure out what they were or why they arrested him. Do you remember that part of the show?
Yeah, I do.
Seems kind of odd, doesn't it? I mean, I'm sure it's written on paper somewhere. There's got to be doesn't sound like the most challenging task to find out why you were arrested.
Yeah, and then if you listen to the second hour, it's a little bit more rambling and
more rambling than the first.
Yeah, it's but there's a little bit more sophistication because he tells of his history with Billy Walters and how he was making line moves and how he was in the first hour. Was he talking about the Stardust lottery when he would put up the games with Scotty Shelter over at the Stardust?
He mentioned it, but I'm not sure if he went into great detail about it. But he did. He mentioned the existence of it. Yeah.
And how he would make his line a pick and it would move to 6, and the next thing you know, he was crushing them, and now it's not so easy. He was rambling, a little bit of cursing here and there, but a little bit
of veterinary medicine.
Yeah, and then and then you're right. Like he keeps talking. He opens up the show by saying what a genius he was, but then he wasn't that smart. And throughout the 2 hours, he talks. Well, I'm not good at math. I didn't do this, but he was interesting. He looks like a pretty good guy. But speaking of an Alan Boston, you guys, I got an email this morning, and we're gonna probably have him on the show next week. I got a character right out of the Las Vegas oldies but goodies. His name is August Pritzlaff, and he arrived in Vegas from Chicago, Illinois, with $42 in 1977. And he was a friend of mine, and I hung out with him a lot here in the 80s, and he disappeared for about 25 years. He's back. But this guy's a guy that turned up at the Fremont playing 1 3 7-card stud with $42 dropped off on a Greyhound bus and turned that into $125,000 within the course of a year playing $5 and $10 and $25 blackjack. But his name's August Pritzlaff. He's going to be on our show next week. And as a treat, he's going to share with you, he was the originator of 2 NFL systems that are still in play today and profitable. So I want everybody to stay tuned for that one, the August Pritzlaff show.
Wow. All right. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah. There's some colorful characters, but so Brian, you heard the first hour of this Alan Boston guy. He was a famous legend, I guess, a big winner.
Sure.
What do you think about some of the rambling he did? I
mean, there's certainly a way for this type of. I would say for our listeners that aren't, everyday bettors, if we were to divide handicapping styles, we could come up with probably dozens of different styles, but essentially you could take the methodology of handicapping and divide it into 2 categories, kind of your quantitative math guys, and then there's kind of your guys that are really rely on kind of gut feeling, psychology, emotion, watching games, knowing the personnel, but not necessarily quantitative, right? That's kind of the 2 ends of the spectrum. And Alan Boston's clearly on the second of those 2, spectrums. And I think, there was certainly a market for him to win in the past. College basketball, every sport has become so much more efficient. I don't know. Is it possible for someone to win kind of just by gut feeling and knowing the personnel? It's tough.
I don't think so. I think the 2 things you mentioned are exactly true to form, but I think you need both. I think you need both to overcome it. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The people who tend to rely on gut, that's Alan. I don't know that much about Alan Boston. I know he's an old timer, but I know he used to always brag about how he did no handicapping. He just he did no analysis. He just pretty much all relied on his gut, and he would just make millions off his gut instinct. And then I heard he went the other way out and pretty much went broke. Years later, and I just think that you can only go so far, without doing real, true handicapping and, quantitative analysis. So, I don't know where he is now. I didn't hear the interview, and I'm sure he's bragging how well he's doing. But, I have heard he's, been up and down like crazy for years.
Yeah, but you know what I think is strange, because when I hear every story of the 70s and 80s in Vegas and all the money these guys made, the Stu Ungers, the Alan Bostons, they all found one thing that seems to have taken them all down, and that was the devil's dandruff. They always found coke. They always found a way. We used to call it the devil's dandruff, which was cocaine. You know what I mean? But they always seemed to be able to find that, and then drinking and everything else. And all these guys, it took them all down. It was like they're like rock stars,
Yeah, it probably releases a lot of the same endorphins that high stakes gambling does. Not surprising that there's a correlation there.
Guys, we got to take a timeout. We'll be right back. 3 minutes. Fifth Street Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save?
All right, you're clear.
Right? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right. Call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780. Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
This is Bully Ray.
This is Jay Lethal. Dalton Castle from Ring of Honor. Tell you that Honor Club.
Honor Club is the ultimate ROH experience.
Treat yourself this holiday season and get live streaming of ROH on tour events like Honor Reign Supreme.
Also, get on-demand access to past Ring of Honor events, out-of-print compilations,
50% off pay-per-views,
and more.
Or better yet,
go VIP and receive every major pay-per-view for free,
including Final Battle.
Honor Club is more than a network. Skip the line for pre-sale ticket access to live events and receive 15% off at ROHProShop.com on exclusive apparel, DVDs, replica championships, and more.
Go to ROHHonorClub.com.
ROHHonorClub.com.
Or open the ROH app now. Available on all Apple and Android devices and Roku.
We are Honor Club, and honor is real.
All right, folks, we're back here on Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. Also find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk and on YouTube, iHeart, everywhere. Folks, one thing before we get to Oklahoma, Brian, and Florida, Rick, because we're going to analyze a couple of things. Don't forget the Fifth Street Advantage. If you go to our website, fifthstreetsports.com, and sign up for our Fifth Street Advantage, you get some of the picks from here and then all the rest of them. But before we let this day go by, because, today's National Signing Day. Brian, what do you got on this National Signing Day event?
It's a window. It's actually signing days. It goes until Friday or Thursday or Friday this week. Used to be that National Signing Day was in February, and it kind of was it was kind of a spectacle all by itself. It was, the football was over. It was it was kind of a separate event. In the last couple of years, they've opened up this thing called Early Signing Day, where if you want to commit early, you can. Well, it's a function of supply and demand or game theory or however you want to explain it. Basically this has become the real signing day now, because there's a rush to get these kids to commit early and to kind of scare them. If they don't commit early, maybe there won't be a spot for them. So you're going to see most of the big schools are going to fill out the recruiting class, most of the recruiting class today. If you're a really elite player, you might have the ability to kind of hold off until February and not sign until February. But yeah, it's a spectacle. And one really funny thing happened today. So University of Georgia has arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but his backup is a really talented kid that was one of the highest recruited players in the country. Unfortunately, he plays behind Jake Fromm, who's a great quarterback, and I guess this kid's thinking he's never going to, get on the field. So it was announced today. Not sure if it's completely accurate, but it looks like this guy wants to transfer, and he's pretty much put out there that he wants to transfer. The timing is really interesting because he's announcing it on National Signing Day, and there's even speculation as to which schools he's targeting. So, if you're a 5-star quarterback and you're about to sign at a particular school, it's got to give you a little bit of heartburn to think that this guy could be transferring in and potentially promised the job at the school that you're signing at. So that's been one of the big stories today. It's weird this year though, with bowl games having not been played, all of the coaching decisions that haven't been made. It's very strange to think of why this process has to happen so early. Do you have any thoughts or memories of great signing days from the past, Rick?
Yeah, well, I mean, just getting back to your Justin Fields thing, I think I saw that if he's in a transfer, it looks like it's between Florida State, Ohio State, and Oklahoma, which Oklahoma really would be a perfect fit. We still don't know about Murray, if he's going to be coming back next year or not. I think they tend to think he's not, but I know he really wants to. So if he sat out one year, then took over for Murray, that would be the absolute perfect scenario right there. Florida State, as we know, is always in need of a quarterback. I don't know if they sign anyone this year. They probably signed somebody, but this Justin Fields was the number 1 overall recruit last year in the entire country. So he's very wanted by any team. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. The thing that's weird is if he does transfer, he's going to have to sit out next year. And like we were talking about earlier, Jake Fromm is most likely going to leave after next year to go to the NFL. He's going to be a top 5 pick, maybe the number 1 overall pick. So he's going to have to sit out regardless next year, whether he plays for Georgia or transfers. And if he plays for Georgia, he'll still get in the field and play, but he won't be the starter. So it's kind of interesting. That's why he hasn't really made up his mind. But they've already said he's going to be playing in the bowl game. So we'll see a lot of him in the bowl game. They like to put him on the field together at times, and run a lot of trick plays and things like that. So
trick play, trick plays. He's great on trick plays. Just not 4th and 10 punts.
Yeah. Hey guys, well listen, speaking of Brian, you mentioned a key word early, and I think it's called action. We're getting a lot of stuff from our 5th Street social that I guess some of our guys are jonesing for a little action. And you said, you mentioned something about the last 2 weeks of the NFL. You can find some really sweet, motivated or non-motivated spots. You got any?
Yeah, totally. We'll talk about this a few times over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, it's a great scenario. Week 17 is especially fun, although the NFL has cut down on our ability to squeeze out money week 17 by kind of forcing every team to basically play at the same time in week 17. In previous years, we would we made so much money on making if bets. If bets where 4 o'clock, or the late games were basically had a huge change in motivation depending on what happened in the early games. And so, you might bet a team in the early game and then have an if bet to the late. In the early days, you're not going to believe this. Well, you were around, so you'll believe it, Frank, but some of our listeners won't believe this. Some of the software was so bad, a lot of these sites, that you could make if bets where the front end was a much smaller wager. Like the front end could be like a $10, $20 wager. The back end bet could be, say, $1,000 wager. And you just make these ridiculous if bets that trigger action. Only if the right scenario happened in the early game, you'd have action on the late games. And oftentimes, depending on what happened in the early games, you'd have 5, 6, 7 point line moves as a team would go from fully motivated to not motivated.
Right.
So that's gotten harder to do.
Like if a team was to lose in the morning, the other team playing in the afternoon would already be in the playoffs because that team lost, and now next thing you know, they're sitting everybody out, right?
Exactly. So, but there are already, motivation's everything. You're going to see these lines move this week based on motivation, and some of the motivation is subtle. Looking at the top of the, well, not the top of this board, but I'll ask you guys. The Pittsburgh Steelers go to New Orleans this week. How would you rate that game in terms of motivation for Pittsburgh and in terms of motivation for New Orleans?
Well, I'll answer what I think, at least. Pittsburgh looks like if they're going to make the playoffs, they're probably going to have to win both games. I mean, surely one, but probably both. New Orleans, all they have to do at this point is just win.
Or a Rams loss, right? Or a Rams loss.
Let me tell you what Pittsburgh's deal is. Pittsburgh right now is 75% chance to make the playoffs, 70% chance to win the division. If they lose, okay, just throwing in that one factor. If they lose, it goes to 6-62. So it's not really. It's actually mathematically, it's a pretty minor game for them. Not saying that they want to lose, but it's not. It's not life or death for them. New Orleans, though, that's kind of surprising, I think, right?
Yeah. That's
New Orleans, here's New Orleans' deal. To get a first-round bye, that they're 99% right now. If they lose, it goes to 96%. So still not a huge motivation. Now, the question of will they be the number one seed in the playoffs, that's the only thing left to be decided, and that's a relatively simple task too. They're basically dormy on the Rams, right?
Yeah, but I think the Bears can actually squeeze in there, believe it or not.
Well, that's a whole different issue between the Rams and the Bears, right? So what would it take for the Bears to catch them? Well, the Bears would have to make up one game, and they would have the tiebreaker.
Right, but can the Bears get to the number one over the Saints? Is there a scenario for that?
I think they'd have to win both, and the Saints have to lose both.
Yeah, who would have the tiebreaker in that scenario?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't know. They would both be 12-4.
Right.
They didn't play each other head to head. Oh, the Bears would definitely have the tiebreaker because the Bears are 8-2 in conference. So that means that at that point the Saints would have 4 losses in conference. So the Bears would own the tiebreaker. But I mean, the Saints have to lose the final week at home to the Panthers, and of course at home to the Steelers for that to happen.
Okay, so with that being said, for the Saints, they got the Bears kind of nipping at them, and they got the Rams that they need to lock this thing up. Because remember, I think the Rams play the Arizona where they're like 14-point favorites.
They do.
Where would you give the motivation to in this game?
Well, Arizona's playing for personal contracts, and
no, I mean in the Steelers Saints. The Steelers.
With the Steelers Saints. Well, it's kind of an interesting game because I don't know that either team is. I don't know that there's. I would think I wouldn't read too much into it. I don't think that there's great motivation either way. What's your thought, Rick?
I think the this is being played as a normal, regular game where both teams are hungry and both teams want it. I don't think this game has any kind of less motivation for either team yet. Once if the Saints win, then they'll lock up the home field, so they'll probably rest everybody in Week 17 against Carolina. But for now, they're going to play this game as if it's a important game, and the Steelers are going to do the same. So I think it should be a really fun game to watch. And like you said in the past, Bri, probably a great game to do, interactive over, early in the game after the Steelers fall behind like 10, 14, nothing. And then they start going to the no huddle right away,
Brian,
that's my favorite.
You know what just came to mind, Brian? Here's an if bet. How about this one? Do you think there's anything to it? If San Diego wins, okay? If San Diego wins on Thursday or Saturday against Baltimore, or loses, San Diego loses on Thursday or Friday to Baltimore, I'll take Seattle over Kansas City, because then Kansas City is not anywhere near as desperate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, when is that San Diego-Baltimore game?
I believe it's
Chargers.
L.A. Yeah, so let's say the Chargers lose.
They're still San Diego to me.
Yeah,
it's still the beach.
Should I say okay, if the L.A. Chargers lose to Baltimore, right, that gives Kansas City essentially a game and a half because they have the tiebreaker. Now, Kansas City is going to be playing in Seattle, which Seattle's going to be fighting for their life. Boy, you just got to think that could be like a mini if bet there.
Okay, yes and no. Here, let me throw another stat at you, okay? What do you think Seattle's chances of making the playoffs are right now?
I think they're quite high. I would say at least 60%.
Higher. It's got to be probably 80% or 85%.
Really?
96%. 96%.
Oh, okay.
But don't
if they lose, they drop if they lose, they drop to 93%.
Wow, how can that be? I mean, they're 8-6. You got Philly at 7-7. Minnesota. Oh gosh, Andrew's got our guys. When we come back, because we got less than a minute on this segment. When we come back, you guys are going to have to fire off some really good value picks for our listeners that have been hanging on for 55 minutes. But wait, we still got 30 seconds. How does it go that Seattle can be this locked up, being 8-6, with all these 7-7 teams on their heels?
Well, remember, Philadelphia and Washington have to play each other in the last week, so they would both have to win this week to set up a scenario where one of them actually gets to the point where they have 9 wins, and then I guess you've got
Brian,
Minnesota 7-6-1. I don't know.
Hold that thought, guys. We'll be right back. Fifth Street Sports.
Attention business owners.
All right, you're clear.
On your cable TV bill for your business, we can give you packages with up to 90 great channels and save your business a ton of cash. And if you call right now, you can learn how to get free equipment and free installation. Now you have choices. It's time to start saving money on your cable TV bill for your business. And call today and get 90 channels plus free equipment and free installation. Smart business owners like you all across the country are consolidating and saving money on their cable TV, internet, and phone service for the business. So now's the perfect time. This may be a limited time offer to the first 100 people that call right now. So please save money and call now.
800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. That's 800-470-7113.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables rules, not your credit. And 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate have created a unique investment opportunity that combines legal marijuana and crowdfunding. Now, after you let that sink in for a second, think about the growing momentum around legal marijuana in this country. It's been all over the ballot. If you are an investor, there has never been a better time to get in the game. However, as markets grow, so does the barrier to entry, which means it will take millions, if not billions, to invest, not to mention the risk of starting a new venture. That's what makes this opportunity so special. Transatlantic Real Estate is different. They buy land that supports marijuana grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. Did you get that? You're investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm. The best part is, they're using crowdfunding to make it easy for the average person to get in before they take the company public. So for a limited time, you can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game. Do it now.
Guys, Fifth Street Sports here. We're back. Hey, we got it. We got to get to this really quick. Rick, Brian, NBA, college picks, NHL. What do we got for our listeners and viewers today?
All right, I'll start off by giving out, I think, a pretty strong college play today. It's game 622, Syracuse -3 at home against Buffalo. This is a game where we've talked about this many times in the show. The public is 70% plus on the dog on Buffalo here. It's a ESPN game, 8 o'clock. Buffalo's the it team right now. They beat Arizona last year in the tournament. They're 10-0 so far in the year. So they're playing at Syracuse. Syracuse has already 3 losses in the year, 2 in the tournament early in the season. They just lost this past weekend at home to Old Dominion in a stunner where they blew a big second half lead. But the public loves to bet, like the 10-0 undefeated dogs in these situations, and they usually just end up getting crushed. So I'm going to go with Syracuse -3 at home, game 622 in college basketball. Right. And then in the NBA, I'm going to give out game 548, Brooklyn +2 at home against the Lakers. And I'm going to also give out game 551, Dallas +4.5 at Denver. Those are my 2 NBA picks tonight.
All right, Brian, what do you got, brother, for some cash?
For some cash. This is for cash. Okay. Hey, Rick, on the Creighton, Oklahoma game, what do you show for the public percent on that game?
Public's about 60% on Oklahoma. Yeah, no, 624.
Okay.
Oklahoma's 60% on the public.
Yeah, I thought it would be a little higher. Oklahoma's rolling right now. They've just won like 5-6 games in a row. They're 8-1 against the spread. I think they're a little overinflated. I like the value of getting Creighton +6 in this. So that's a decent sized play for me.
All right, so let's see. That's what you got right now, Brian. Nothing on the ice.
No ice.
No ice. Okay, here's what we got then. We got 622, Syracuse -3. Brian likes Creighton +6. Rick's NBA, Brooklyn +2. Dallas +4.5. Is that right, guys?
That's it.
That's it.
We got it. And then Rockford likes UAB tonight -2. That's 5 picks. We got a lot more on the Fifth Street Advantage. Guys, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Hey, great show, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And have a beautiful afternoon.